Have you ever wondered why stars shine? For most people, they're just distant lights in the sky. But for me, they were guides, warnings, and sometimes my only hope. I, Cleopatra. Today I will tell you how the stars shaped my destiny and how I transformed them into power. Because astrology wasn't just about receiving news from the future, it was about creating it. That night when I first truly looked at the stars, I didn't yet know that my life's most important decisions were already written in this celestial map. From childhood, I was taught that the heavens were never silent. Every planet, every star was a message from the gods. My teachers in Alexandria showed me ancient scrolls from Babylon, from India. These writings were the result of thousands of years of observation. Have you ever looked at the sky and seen order there? As a child, I could see the news of war in Mars' red light, the promises of love in Venus's brightness, the weight of time in Saturn's slow movement. They taught me how to read Venus's movements, the moon's cycles, Sirius's rising. To the naked eye, these were random lights, but I saw the pattern. In that pattern, I heard the future whispering to me. This wasn't just education, it was the art of survival. Because for a queen, the future wasn't just a matter of curiosity, but of preparation. Before ascending to my throne, my astrologers prepared a detailed birth chart for me. They explained which planets were where in the sky at the moment of my birth, how these would shape my character and destiny. At the moment of my birth, Venus was rising in its most powerful house, while Jupiter was shining in the house of royalty. This showed my innate diplomatic abilities and that I would experience great loves. But Mars was also very strong in my chart. This was a sign that my life would be filled with wars and conflicts. And unfortunately, the stars were not wrong. When I made my first important political decision, I consulted the stars. When I was about to engage in the struggle for the throne with my brother Ptolemy, the sky sent me a clear message. Wait, your time has not yet come. I listened to this advice and was right. If I had acted too early, I would have been destroyed. But when the right time came, when Mars rose and Venus strengthened, I made my bold move. When I decided to meet Julius Caesar for the first time, the night sky had captivated me. Mars was rising, the sign of war and power. Venus was in its brightest house, the sign of love and attraction. My astrologers prophesied to me, this union will shake the world. And we all saw how right they were. That famous night, when I decided to wrap myself in a carpet and appear before Caesar, I even looked to the stars. Mercury, the planet of communication and intelligence, was in its strongest position. This was a sign that my words would be effective. During the month I spent with Caesar, Venus and Mars were close together in the sky. This was a symbol of the union of love and power. At the same time, it was also a sign that this union would be temporary. But astrology wasn't just personal guidance for me. I used it as a political weapon too. I appeared before the people in Alexandria during certain celestial alignments. On nights when Venus was brightest, I presented myself as the earthly incarnation of the goddess Isis. When the people saw the shining star in the sky, they believed the goddess had chosen me. During lunar eclipses, I declared this was the gods' warning against my enemies. During solar eclipses, I stayed in my palace and waited for the darkness to pass. The people saw this as wisdom. This wasn't just deception. I truly believed in the power of the stars, because they had shown me the right path countless times. When I met Mark Antony, I again consulted the heavens. Saturn promised struggle and difficulty, but Jupiter also promised victory and greatness. That night I understood that our love would bring both glory and destruction. Throughout my relationship with Antony, I constantly watched the stars, the dance of Mars and Venus, Jupiter's movements, Saturn's warnings. Each gave us different messages. Our happiest times were the nights when Venus and Jupiter met in the same house. We also made our most difficult decisions when Mars and Saturn clashed. Before the Battle of Actium, my astrologers warned me. The order in the sky was against us. Mars was in a weak position, while Saturn was dominant. Defeat was inevitable. But sometimes you must fight against fate. The stars tell us what will happen, but we determine how we'll face it. After Caesar was killed, the sky had darkened. A comet had appeared. This was a very rare event. The Roman people thought this was a sign of Caesar's deification. But I knew this was a herald of approaching disaster. In ancient knowledge, comets meant change, ending, new beginning, and often blood. When I saw that comet, I understood. My time was also running out. But this wasn't a time for fear. It was time for preparation. In my final days, I constantly looked at the sky. Venus was fading on the western horizon, the end of love. Mars was rising in the east, the beginning of war and struggle. The night I decided on my death, the moon was at full moon. In ancient Egypt, this was a symbol of rebirth and transformation. I understood that my death was actually a transition. In ancient times, astrology wasn't just personal. It was the foundation of state administration, agricultural planning, and trade. Babylonian kingdoms, Egyptian pharaohs, all great leaders read the heavens, because stars showed not just individual destiny, but societal changes too. Great alignments of planets would herald wars, plagues, years of abundance. I didn't just read this knowledge, I tried to shape it. During negative periods, I would stay in my palace. During positive times, I would make great moves. But astrology gave me not just power, but fear too. Because the heavens showed us not just victory, but our end as well. I read my fate from the stars, and the stars always told me the same thing. My story would be written between light and shadow. I would experience great loves, gain great power, but at the same time experience great losses too. There's a big difference between modern astrology and ancient astrology. Today, astrology is mostly entertainment, a tool for comfort. But in my time, it was a vital science. We didn't just know the 12 signs. We calculated planets' house changes, their degrees, their angular relationships with each other. We knew at which hour each planet would be strongest. We used the moon's phases for agriculture and health. Crops planted during the full moon would be more fertile. Treatments started during the new moon would be more effective. We followed Venus's cycles for diplomacy. When this planet was strong, agreements were made. When weak, war decisions were taken. We used Mars's movements for military strategies. According to this planet's position, attack times and defense periods were determined. Jupiter's transits were critical for royal decisions. When this largest planet was strong, times for ascending to thrones and major projects were planned. Have you ever thought about the relationship between modern science and astrology? The foundation of astronomy is actually astrology. The need to observe the sky arose from the desire to interpret stars. Ancient astrologers were also experts in mathematics, geometry, and geography. because calculating planetary movements required complex mathematical operations. In my era, the astrologers in Alexandria were the world's most talented scientists. They both read the heavens and developed new calculation methods. Hipparchus was working for astrological purposes when he prepared his star catalogue. The reason Ptolemy developed his astronomical system was also to calculate planetary positions more accurately. But astrology wasn't just a technical science. It was also a combination of philosophy, religion, and art. The sky was the sacred realm where the gods conveyed their messages. Each planet had a god. Venus was the love goddess Aphrodite. Mars was the war god Ares. Jupiter was Zeus, king of the gods. The movements of planets meant the will of the gods. Living with this thought both gave power and imposed responsibility. Because I wasn't just making individual choices, I was becoming part of the cosmic order. As I approached my death, I looked at the stars one more time. This time, I wanted not future knowledge from them, but the opportunity to look back and evaluate the past. All the important events since my birth were indeed written in my birth chart. Great loves, great losses, victory and defeat. Everything was there. The stars gave me hope, gave me power, and finally gave me peace too. Modern people read horoscopes and laugh, but remember that for thousands of years, humanity found guidance in the stars. I, Cleopatra, tell you, the sky is still there, and maybe it has a message for you too.